you're a big advocate for a nimble, almost pilot-based approach to workforce planning. Can you tell us a little bit more about this approach and why you think it works?
Yeah, so I think from a fundamental framework for workforce planning, where you talk about business strategy, future demand, your supply gap, and then closing this gap, we're very close to that, right? So I think that's the standard framework for workforce planning. Yep. But the details below that, when you think about skill-based workforce planning, it's not just predicting one variable, which is headcount. It's really trying to predict many variables, which is really looking at the composition of skills within one job, the composition of how many jobs you need for a certain organization in the future, how these jobs might work with each other. So it becomes a very intricate and complicated things to solve for, because it's many different variables. And on top of that, you have a pharma company that is a very, very complicated net of a value chain. So it's really hard to actually do that at scale for many, many organizations at once. And also, it's very hard to do that in a way that is quite future focused. So therefore, we said we opt for an approach that tries to be very, very targeted. So we really try to zoom into areas of the business that either will face tremendous change from market pressure, from our customers, how they're changing, or are very, very important for us from our business strategy perspective. To really zoom into key pockets, which is maybe 500, maybe 1,000 associates, and really try to make an impact and really try to action, right? So what people often miss, the part of workforce planning is only 10%, right, of the energy. 90% is the execution. So we're really trying to adopt this mindset of almost a venture capitalist that is trying to look at key areas that will be very important for us in 5 years, try to understand them with as much data we can from the labor market, from internally, and come up with a robust plan to then action upon it, learn from it, and then scale potentially for the entire enterprise. And that's kind of what we're trying to implement, and I've been kind of showing some great results in these different pockets of the organization that we try to kind of pilot and approach it this way.
You're right. I mean, obviously Novartis is a big organization, it's a complex organization, it's a global organization, and as you said, trying to do workforce planning for the whole company straight away from a skills-based perspective, difficult. But focus on the most important areas, as you said. You know, that's a key bit of advice, I think, for anyone listening, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's how you can show impact, right? So I think it's also creating momentum, right, behind workforce planning. And I think staying targeted and creating action upon your plans is very important. But I think also it's a way to innovate, right? So it's a way to think how you change your company. So I think your company will always kind of need to perform, right? So it's this kind of transforming versus performing, or it's kind of the innovator dilemma, if you want to talk about it. What we're trying to play with is really moving beyond kind of this is your obvious business model and you just play that out for the next 3 to 5 years into an area where you say, well, innovator's dilemma, what are new business models, what are different business models, really radically different ways of approaching a certain problem, and really trying to figure that out at a small scale, and then learning from that so we're better prepared in 2, 3, 4, 5 years when this future might arrive. We might need to do it at scale, right? And that's kind of the thinking we're trying to foster with this approach.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.